Hi, hello. It's Anim James, and with me is.
My name's Kevin. I spend most of my time over at Dirty 20 Gaming, but thank you again for inviting me to do this with you. I'm looking forward to this.
Yes, could you read what we're talking today?
Absolutely. Our topic today, and I want to start by saying we're going to treat this with all the respect that it deserves. We're going to have an honest look at a tough subject, a deep subject, female beauty standards today. And we start with the quote from Wikipedia. It's not always the best source, but in this case, it's a great place to start. So, from the Wikipedia page on feminine beauty, it says this: the feminine beauty ideal is a specific set of beauty standards regarding traits that are ingrained in women throughout their lives and from a young age to increase their perceived physical attractiveness. It is experienced by many women in the world, though the traits change over time and vary in country and culture. The prevailing beauty standard for women is heteronormative, but the extent to which it is influenced by lesbian and bisexual women is debated. The feminine beauty ideal traits include but are not limited to female body shape, facial features, skin tones, clothing styles, hairstyles, and body weight. Handling the pressure to conform to particular definition of beautiful can have psychological effects on an individual such as depression, eating disorders, body dysmorphia, and low self-esteem that can start from an adolescent age and continue into adulthood. That's a lot. That's a
Y-
lot to unpack.
Yeah,
Why don't you start us off? Pick part of that that sort of caught your attention when you first read it.
about mental problems that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a key reason, right? It's that chasing that perfection that leads to physical and psychological effects, right?
Yes,
Yeah, and we're going to get more into that later too. I just want to hit some high points on here. The one that got me is maybe it's because I am male, but what screamed out at this is what is called female beauty and beauty standards are generally historically defined by horny older men. Like
yeah.
as it's yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm saying I agree with that.
Oh, yeah. It says in the article, they use the phrase it's heteronormative, but the extent to which it's influenced by lesbian and bisexual women is debated. And what got me on that was women in general aren't part of the decision making process.
Yes, and sometimes they can be very mean to each other about that. Like they are commenting how you can dress up like this, or dress up like me, or how she make up, or hairstyle. They always commenting and looking.
That's a really interesting point that we hadn't actually discussed. The weaponization of it
Yeah,
by women against other women. Yeah.
and very clear you can see that in older ladies.
Mhm. Yeah, and I wanted to talk about age later as well, but yeah, that's a really good point. The weaponization of it, where they've turned women against other women, using this beauty, this ideal of beauty as a way to beat other people down. Um,
Yes,
that's brute. That's really brutal, especially considering how, and it points this out too, how ephemeral it is. It's constantly changing. I mean, especially now in the 2020s with the internet and everything else, a style can literally last 2 weeks
or shorter
or
because
even shorter.
now
Yeah, yeah.
because now is popular high fashion where they where companies like Temu or Shein produce a lot of clothing that are trendy like for few days and you trash them and buy next.
Yes. So yeah, it's built. Yeah, that's built right into the industry, right? We don't have to make it last because it's not going to be fashionable for more than a couple of wears. Um, the other thing that's in that main quote to me that grabbed me, and again, we'll be going deeper into all of this, but that beauty standard is by definition unachievable. No one is ever perfect.
Yes, also about this old ladies, I didn't mean age, but I mean situation when people go to church like holidays and old ladies commenting young ladies how they
Sure.
dress up.
Yep. Oh yeah. Yeah, exactly. And again, that ties into this the question of age that goes along with it. That is absolutely a huge part of it. There is a stigma attached to aging in women, as though a woman over a certain age somehow can't be beautiful. I mean, it's a crazy sentence when you say it that way, but it's built right into the fabric of the beauty standards, right?
And you notice that a lot of movies or TV shows where there's older lady, they always play someone like mother in love, but never play main character.
Yes, yeah, exactly. That and they're generally played by women who are far too young to actually have to be the age of the person they're supposed to be playing in the movie or on the show. So we've got people, 40-year-olds playing 60-year-olds on TV, right?
Yeah, or they play grandmas.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, once you're past a certain age, you can only play the grandma character, right? And that's all part of it too. And it goes to show too that even at the highest levels of entertainment community, this is still a thing. This is still an everyday thing that everybody that wants to be in that industry has to fight against, right?
But you know what is even worst?
What's that?
Now, a lot girls 5 years old,
Mhm.
they using cosmetic anti-aging on
Yes.
TikToks.
Yep. Yep. And that touches on a lot of things there, but yeah, the age at which the marketing starts, and well, it even said it in the quote there. It's experienced by uh, it starts very young, right? And the pressure is on far, far, far before you could ever come remotely close to physically matching any of these standards, right? Like you said, 5 years old. That's we can probably agree that's too young, right? But it's
Yes,
there. It happens. It happens every day to almost every girl and young lady on the planet, right?
yeah, and also what is for me kinda stupid is that even now people who are looking good, like 40s or 50s, doing
Mhm.
surgery to look like as teenager.
Oh yes, yeah. The idea of plastic surgery for non-medicinal reasons, right? Not to fix scarring or to heal, to cover something or to make up for surgery or something like that, but plastic surgery for the sake of looking younger. Um, it opens up a whole different can of worms because now we're talking medical procedures to try to come up to this impossible standard, right?
Yeah, but some operations are worried, like, for example, tattooing A-bars.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean that's an extreme example, but yes, it's all a little worrying to me because if that's not necessary surgery, no surgery is 100% safe. If there's a chance something can go wrong, and you're doing it to look younger, it's a difficult choice, obviously, and people are making it. Enough people are making it that plastic surgeons make a damn good living. So it's
Not
not a rare thing, right? It's
not only young, but quote pretty and different because now there's so much where it trends beauty. Like for example, you have in shoulders have have place that hold that small fish can swim, for example.
Yes. Yeah, being it's kind of showing off that extreme body shape. In that case, the being so slender that there's a hollow there in your anatomy. But
Or
yes,
totally like alien eyes, like
mhm.
black eyes or something.
Yeah, and there's people, I want so and so's cheekbones, and I want my eyes to be, get rid of the laugh lines. I want my mouth to turn up at the corners. It it may seem like little tiny things, but they all are based on this a wish to look different than you are, a wish to be different than you are.
Yes,
Um, yeah, and I think this might be a good point to mention that. There's a group of people who have a vested interest in this beauty ideal. We'll be polite and call them advertisers. But there are people who are leveraging that fear and that desire to fit in and that desire to be called beautiful. They're leveraging that to sell products
or services.
or services. Yeah, they'll make you paler, they'll make you blonder, they'll make you more brunette. They'll promise to help you lose weight, all for a price. Right?
Yeah, they do everything. Like for example, a lot of people start with Botox even before they have any wrinkle, just to be
Mhm.
safe.
Yes.
When their face still grow because they're teenagers.
Yep. Yeah. And that's the market between the marketing and the pressure. It's and the other thing with that is no matter how much money you spend, no matter how many of these products you use, no matter how early you start using them, you're never going to achieve that goal because it's impossible. It's an impossible target. But
Yes,
they'll keep pushing you to spend more money, right?
sometimes I'm wondering how those people who had so many operations have money that manner.
Well, there's been shows about it. There's people that have sold homes and other things. Now, I got to stop here for a second because we are dancing very close to the edge of where this starts to deal with another very important part
Yes,
that we want to talk about. But this is where it gets into mental health issues. Some
yes,
of those people have that money because they sold houses, because they quit their jobs, because a lot of reasons. And I'm not going to say that any of the, that one or that one or that one requires or would benefit from mental health uh, consultations, but this can and does affect women physically and mentally. There is no denying that, right?
yes. And it's kinda sad because even people who are not from that industry are making women hate each other look because comments on internet are
Yes.
post in media like even on TV, magazines, Instagram. People
Yeah.
hate that young girls and they don't like how they look and then haters come and say you are ugly and
Yeah.
it can break someone.
Yes. And that's been the case for a long time, but I would argue that it's become worse lately because of things like Instagram filters and AI and even Photoshop. You can Someone can now create an image that no human being can match.
Yeah,
So it's another way of setting up an impossible target, right? So the pressure's always been there, but I would argue that it's gotten worse in the computer age because not only because of the access to haters that you brought on, which is, I mean, we have watched haters tear lives apart. It doesn't matter the subject, and in this case, it's particularly nasty in this case from what I've seen. But it
yeah,
allows the haters access, and it also allows things like AI and Photoshop to be used to make it impossible.
yeah, but like I said, I myself experience haters telling me I'm ugly.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, I've been insulted a lot in my life, but I don't think I have ever been. I don't think it's my looks that have ever been insulted. I can't think of a time.
I was the
So,
back then like teenager when they insulted.
and that's and again, that's that you're at that point in your life where you're so vulnerable, right? To trying to define who you are and what do I want to look like, right? Do I have a standard I want to hold myself to?
Yeah,
And then there's people doing that to you. It's it's gonna have physical and psychological effects. There's no way it's not going to happen, right?
and even worse, these haters who said that was men.
Of course it was. As you pointed out earlier, women can weaponize this too, but I think it's probably fair to say it's predominantly men that do the online hating.
Yes,
Yeah, but that comes back to what it has in the quote there too, where women, be they lesbian, bisexual, or anything else, they don't have a say in their own beauty standards. That's just not part. I mean, you see it. You see them. They say, "This is what I find beautiful. This is what I find beautiful. This is what I find beautiful." And I love the array. I just everybody that points at somebody and says, "I think that person's beautiful." I'd love it. Um, but to not have any say in it as a person of that gender strikes me as being mind-boggling.
yeah, but back to mental.
Yes,
It's
please.
also it's also hard when you watch TV shows as teenager or kid and are actors who look quite perfect while you're
Oh yes,
not.
yes. Oh yeah, absolutely. Um, for decades, it was TV and movies that did that. All the actors were, made up and nicely lit and living perfect, not just looking perfect, but living perfect lives and wearing suits and dresses and all of that was there. This artificial standards, but I think it's always been more challenging for women. I think,
And
and
don't forget also magazines. Even teenagers
mhm.
had magazines with models pretty.
Yes, and in that case, a lot of the models are incredibly thin. Some would say dangerously thin. And now they're being, airbrushed and photoshopped and modified using AI to look even thinner. So, like you said, the pressure's on from the second you can see. By the time you're
Yeah,
five to 7 years old, the pressure's there. This is what you're supposed to look like.
even now you have influencers on internet who promo
Yes.
products and they
Oh,
are
yes.
perfect. And
Yep.
you said AI, but nowadays you have fictional models, not
Yes.
even filters.
Yes. Yep. Exactly. So they're not even again, they're not even human, right? They're impossibly shaped, and they can change if a pattern changes. They can change a haircut with the push of a button. They can change the way their clothes look in the push of a button. So again, you're chasing these impossible targets, right?
Yeah, but also what is kinda sad, even now celebrities looks unhealthy. Like, for example, Ariana Grande.
Yep. Very recently, there was concern about how thin she had gotten, and that, I mean, let's face the elephant in the room. That's the big one, right? The pressure to be thin. In current standard, it's been that way for 30 or 40 years at least. The current beauty standard starts with very thin,
Yeah,
and
but
that immediately puts 90% of women out of the out of the running, right?
yes, then her face structure looks
Hmm.
unhealthy.
Yeah.
Like iron eyes, for example, cheeks.
Yes. Yeah. The to me, they you can tell that their body is in a stressed state, to try, to apply a medical term. They look stressed. They look like they're malnourished. They're clearly working very hard to stay extraordinarily slender.
Yeah, and others now, actors and singers doing
Yep.
the same. And people are concerned. And I
Yep.
can't understand people because now girls looking at those
Yes.
celebrities and want to be like that.
Yep. And we get to, I think, one of the key things in this conversation is there's tremendous social pressure to make those arguably very bad decisions, and there's very little social pressure to make healthy choices.
Yes, and I don't like that we are like all swingers because few years ago popular was to be kinda plus size and then obesity and
Yep.
people had many problems like heart attack.
Yep. Yeah. The that particular part of the beauty standards, that one I think can be really, really damaging. Um, the the again the healthy choices, um, is there's probably something too thin, and there's probably something as too large, but inside that medically healthy, and that's still a dangerous way to put it, because who defines what's healthy and what isn't, but within the range that covers most uh, women, I think that pressure increases as they get larger.
Yes, and then we had body shaming like on TV.
Yes.
You watch like for example TV shows and they talk you are too large when she's normal.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And body shaming is that this comes back to what you were talking about earlier too, the trolls, the haters. Um, it can the the first, when it starts, when body shaming starts, it's bad. I mean, it's insulting part of who you are, but it piles on, and it never stops once it starts. Or this is what I've seen people going through, and the shame can lead to very unhealthy behaviors, which can lead to more shame, and it's a vicious circle. Like you said, once the haters pile on, it becomes, in some cases, not to be, not to overstate it, but it can become life threatening.
Yeah, but I don't only mean haters. For
Uh-huh.
example, there is TV show Top Model when people go to casting for next model and jury judge them and sometimes they don't pass the judgment
I
because
see.
they say you are too fat for model, but they are not fat. They
Right.
normal, regular.
Yeah. Yeah. And that comes back to what you were talking about right at the beginning, too, the weaponization of it.
Yes,
Imagine wanting to be a model, and you look in the mirror and you think, I look pretty good. and then you go out and apply to be, to do that for a living, to get told that you're too big.
Yeah,
That's just cruel, right? I mean, I'm giggling. I shouldn't be, but I just imagined a man going for a job as a plumber, and the boss says, "I'm not hiring you because you're not handsome enough."
yeah,
Right? It just doesn't make sense. Right?
yeah. And there was a lot of examples when celebrities talk, they are taking medicine to be
Oh,
slim.
yep, yep. The Ozempic is the most recent one, but there's always, always, always been one. There's always been diet pills, and there's always been people who used them as a way to control weight. And back even in the 50s and the 60s, they were taking amphetamines to not eat so that they'd keep their weight down. And again, arguably bad medical decisions, but if that's what it is required for you to keep your job, what choice do you have?
Yeah, but versus people who watch those people or those TV shows then think they should do the same.
Yes, yes,
And
and
then
there,
they feel body shame that my body is not that good.
yes, yes, and it all piles together, right? The body shaming starts, so you buy some products because they tell you you'll feel better, and you use the products and you don't feel better. So now there's even more shame that they didn't work, and there's more people body shaming you, and it just piles and piles and piles.
Yes,
I can absolutely see how it could take over someone's life.
yeah,
And that's, I mean, frankly, to me, that's horrifying. But it is also true. We see it. We see it in the news all the time. Uh, People who
yeah,
have simply unable to deal with it anymore, and in various ways they respond. They either stop doing it, um, or other things happen. But I think your point about the influence of famous people and celebrities is really important, because potentially those people have a chance to make a difference
yes,
by choosing themselves to appear in a more healthy way, right?
yeah, but I don't like that we have to scale about those people. On one hand, you have people who wear plus size and they lose weight, and people hate them for doing so, but they
Yes.
are healthier. Like, for example, Adele, she is
Yes.
healthier now, but
Yes.
people
Yeah.
hate her. But on other hand, you have actors and actresses who are bigger and bigger and promote that you don't need to take care of yourself. You can eat what you want, and then you have illness.
Yep. Yeah. And I would suggest that that's all part of that. The side effects, the psychological and physical side effects of that beauty standard in the first place. Because if it's not there, then there's nothing to rebel against, right? There's
Yeah,
nothing to say, I won't be that. In fact, I'll be the opposite of that. Because that's a reasonable, it's not a healthy reaction, but it's a reasonable reaction. I understand that from a psychological reaction point of view. I'll show you I won't be that. But if that's leading to you to other unhealthy behaviors, then that is, again, it's this same cause, different problem, right?
yeah. And what important is culture have difference. Like in Asia and in Africa is different than in West.
Oh, 100%. Even from city to city, it can be minor style differences, and that's just in our modern times. If you go back historically, obviously, you look at standards of beauty over the last 3 or 4 thousand years, since people have been carving pictures of other people into the rocks. We know it's changed over time, But
Yeah.
the standards themselves change, but what doesn't change is those things we were talking about right at the beginning, right? Whatever
Yes.
those standards are, they're male imposed, they're ephemeral and constantly changing, they're unachievable, you can never get there, and chasing them causes physical and psychological effects. Right? That is the one
Yeah.
thing that hasn't changed.
Yes.
Oh, the other thing with famous people and celebrities, we kind of mentioned it, but we didn't mention it directly. There's a there's celebrities and famous people who are doing it just by being themselves and looking the way that they look. But there are other ones out there that are doing it so that they can market their own stuff, or
Yes.
the wearing the works of someone else and they're marketing that.
Yeah.
So mhm. So that brings up intentionality. People that are working this beauty standard to turn a profit. What are your thoughts on that?
I noticed this very popular among internet influencers. Like they are always making their branch of cosmetics with based on products. And then a lot of children who are fans of those influencers buying, even if they don't need it.
Yep, exactly. So it's those people turning a profit off of someone's insecurities, right?
Yeah, and also using those people like, oh, my fans will buy that because it's face my own battle.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, they wanna look like me. They want to be me. They think they can buy that in a tube of face cream, right?
Yeah, or they are just fan who wants to have everything with their
Mm.
favorite celebrity influencer.
That's a very good point. It isn't always directly marketed as a beauty standard. It might be, like you said, it's a collectible. But that collectible shows it's a figurine and it shows an unrealistic body shape, right? That sort of
Yeah,
thing. Where, yeah. Mhm.
but you know what I get in topic of figurines?
What's that?
That a lot of people were getting Barbie dolls, like Barbie dolls promote among girls unrealistic body shape. But
Mhm.
it's not true because, for example, I grew up with Barbie dolls and I didn't get that problem. I had that problem when I met haters or
Yeah,
when I saw these celebrities in TV.
sure. But that's a good point. Is not all of the things that we talked about today are going to affect every girl and woman the same way, right? You weren't affected by that particular side of it, but some girls certainly were, right? So yeah, it's which I think brings us to a really good point, which is this is everywhere. You can't go anywhere and not encounter this pressure of female beauty standards that are
Also,
currently in place in your wherever you are, right?
also people hate Disney princess for being unrealistic skinny, but
Mhm.
I always knew that they are fictional, the same Barbie
Yes.
doll. I didn't
Yeah.
think I can be like Ariel, for example, because
Sure.
Ariel don't exist.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. And so yeah, for you, that pressure didn't come from there. But I suspect if we looked around, there would be you'd be able to find people that said that it did affect them.
Yeah,
But
and now they are doing characters more plus size. Not
yeah,
much, but kinda like Moana.
yes, yeah, and that's the thing with for me that's good, but they're still doing it because they feel like they have to. It's not just natural, right? Um, Still, as you said, it's very rare. Still, a very large percentage of animated females are, well, let's just say they look the same.
Yeah,
right? They've got the impossibly thin waist, and they're always dressed perfectly, and their hair is never fussed, and all those things that we used to laugh about 50s TV show women, right? They were in the kitchen, perfectly dressed up and made up like they were ready to go out.
yeah. Also, what I didn't, that I really don't like is that anime is now popular and a lot of female characters is not mature. Like they
Mhm.
look like children and men's watching this and it's kinda close to break love.
Yeah, that is absolutely an issue with this when the beauty standards start crossing age lines. That is extraordinarily problematic for a whole bunch of reasons, and they should be pretty obvious to anybody who's listening. But that's a whole nother level of pressure and um, unhealthy behavior. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, but I'm saying that because some girls can dress up like
Oh,
those
yes.
characters,
Yep.
lolitas and like that,
Oh,
and
yes. Yep.
they can feel pressure to look like kid because men
Yep.
likes and men's explain that this character is mature because have 1,000 years
Yeah.
and just look like that.
Yeah. And we all know that's a cheat, right? We all know what it looks like. And yeah, that's very much not healthy in any way that I would consider to be healthy. So
Yeah, but I
it's all part of
wanted
it.
I wanted to mention that
Oh, yes.
because nowadays anime and manga earn more money than the West products.
Yep. Oh, yes. Yep. And the old story is true. If it wasn't selling, no one would make it. So it's it's that's a real world effect of this application of beauty standards, right?
Yeah,
It's literally changed movies and TV and what we view.
also one thing that I don't like is that when men play fan service games, they later want to girls have body shape like those characters in games.
Yep. Yep. And again, that's unhealthy on a whole bunch of levels. But yes, it is very concerning, and it is absolutely the result of female beauty standards being applied by men, right? And not by women, and not by an average, normal, regular adult, right?
Yeah, also, what I hate is that soon women will be rivalry with AI companions. Like nowadays, so many holographic girls are produced and
Yep.
men's prefer by like that instead of dating a regular woman.
And even in just the physical looks area, there you could make an AI look like whatever you want.
Yes,
Uh, no, no woman can ever achieve that. No real woman can ever achieve that same look. Uh, and so it's more pressure on women, but it's also creating unreasonable expectations in men too, right? If
yeah,
they think that that's possible, then you've kind of missed the point in my head. But that's my choice. But you're right, it happens. It's a huge phenomenon right now. Um, Men having relationships with AI girlfriends, and yeah, it adds a whole new layer to the beauty standards when you can program what your girlfriend looks like,
yeah.
right? And who knows what effect that's going to have when it starts to bleed over into the real world. Are men going to expect to program their real life girlfriends?
I don't know. My ex try to tell me what I should wear or how I should act, because he
Yeah.
prefers girls like that, not me.
Well, that's a true story, and it's as old as time. Men telling women how they should dress and act and be. But I think that brings us back to a really key element of this. It's basically the first thing, the first thing we said. Um, it's applied by men. It's never been in women's best interests to have these beauty standards. There's never been a benefit, I don't
Yeah,
think.
only in the way, I know it's bad example, but women's only benefit in this beauty standard when they acting like stepsisters of Cinderella, like they are against look of a daughter, like
Okay.
how she can wear this dress. She should
Right.
dress worse than me,
Yeah.
or why she hair like that. You see how she dress up, how she make up.
Yeah.
She is
Yeah. Yeah.
crazy how she wear.
Yeah. That weaponization you were talking about earlier, where women use that standard to knock down other women, right? Either
Yeah,
to make themselves feel better or to make that other woman feel worse, right? It's and that to me, there's an element of sadness to that, right? Instead
yeah,
of sort of pulling together and fighting and saying no, we're not going to do that. The fact that it's that deeply ingrained in our society is a little saddening. I mean, the whole thing is
yeah.
sad, but that's that to me, that particular moment is sort of grabbed me.
You know also what I really hate in
What's
your
that?
society? When you have disabled child or you are disabled, society thinks you can dress up and wear
Yes,
nice because you should wear poor like from street.
yeah, like you're not allowed to dress up, and that's interesting too because that
Even,
is definitely part of the beauty standards, but not in the same way, right?
but
You're
I
not
mean,
allowed. Go ahead, please.
but you can't even have nice manicure.
Hmm. Yeah, that's a really unique take on it, and that I hadn't thought of. But yeah, you're not even allowed to compete, right?
Yeah,
You're not even allowed to play the game.
yeah. I mean, I give example. Some years ago, in Polish parliament, parents of disabled children was protesting for more social money for children, and one mother have nice manicure. So media and people hated her, like, why she have this nice
Oh,
Polish nails? She should
uh,
be poor and don't have like that.
yeah. So yeah, yeah, literally saying you're not allowed to play the game. How dare you try and be pretty? Um, that's a
Mm,
whole nother side of it, right? That's
yeah, I also experienced when one rich woman told mother of disabled person she is not allowed to buy her daughter Adidas tracksuit. She should buy the cheapest from marketplace or like thrift shop.
wow. The arrogance, right? I mean, the arrogance behind that, telling someone else what they can and can't do, but then the motivation for that by saying, "Oh no, they're not allowed to have that stuff. They shouldn't be trying to be pretty." That's
Yeah,
horrible. That's
also
absolutely hideous.
Also, the same person thought that mother she don't allow it to have nice, simple necklace gold.
Oh, yeah. And that one, yeah, that it's shaming, but it's sort of beauty adjacent shaming. Um, you're being punished for trying, right? That
Yeah,
just yeah.
because you don't fit in
Yep.
image.
Yeah, exactly. You didn't tick all the boxes, so you're not allowed to play. Um, which I think brings us to probably the most important part of this, which is how uh, omnipresent it is. It's everywhere. It's every second of every day for every woman. This
Yeah.
this just never ever stops.
Also, I know that we are talking about women,
Uh-huh.
but men also evolved because I remember times from like 80s when men should be like musculate like Schwarzenegger, and
Yeah,
nowadays the the most handsome man is like K-pop idol.
yeah, and that's fair. I mean, I'm not going to say that there isn't pressure on men, but I think it's significantly different because dad bods are okay, right? So a certain percentage of women find a middle-aged man with a bit of a belly appealing, as long as he's still sort of big bear that can give me a nice hug. So they're there, and they're especially when you're young. Sort of, I remember being 18 and 20 years old and looking around, going, "I'm not as muscular as these guys. I should get on that." But I also I feel comfortable in saying it's not the same level. It
Yeah,
is not. Even the guys that really took it seriously and really, really wanted to be handsome and worked very hard, I don't think they had to work as hard as most women do.
I don't like that some men that could kinda lose weight, not much, but take care of themselves, better
Uh-huh.
eat, be healthy. They are
Yep.
they are joking all videos about red pills, like women are bad, you don't need women in your life, and that stuff.
Yeah, I mean that certainly can be part of it. But I think it's different enough. I think the pressure that men put on each other. First of all, that's the key thing: is men define men's beauty.
Not
Women
only
don't define it, right? Yeah.
Not only because some women have a list of stuff they want
Oh
in
yeah.
men and other
Yeah.
are a red flag. And
Yeah.
one example, how tall is man?
Yes. Yeah. That's come around again. And if you're not 6 feet, you can't get a date is the running joke. But I would argue that being 6 feet tall, expected to be 6 feet tall, is considerably less pressure than what constitutes being pretty for a woman. I would say it's easier for a man to achieve the current standards, than it is for a woman to do it.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that men
Oh yeah.
have also
Yep.
pressure and they
Yep.
jumping into bad rabbit holes because of
Hmm.
that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And like I said, some of them are more likely to do that than others. There are people that spend a lot of money to look good from both sexes, right? But, but yeah, that's I would say it's different. Probably like an order of magnitude different. I think it's probably 10 times more important in a woman's life than it is in most men's.
Yes, just wanted to mention.
Oh yes, and that's good for you for mentioning it because it would have been a one-sided conversation if you hadn't. So.
I just saw a lot of men like thinking they don't attractive and then they were watching these videos about Sigma male and rabbit holes.
Oh yeah, and trying to the standard dressing like rock stars phase, and
No,
the bought
now
bought your
is
first suit phase, and yeah.
no no now is popular to be like do you know movie American Psycho?
Yep.
Like this businessman in suit
Yep.
who is listening to classical music and is
Oh yeah.
arrogant to everybody.
Yep. Mhm.
This is
Yeah.
the type of red pill and Sigma male.
Right. Yeah. And yeah, the pressure is absolutely there. There are stereotypes that we're supposed to meet too. Um, and yeah, it says a lot about us as people. I think that we have these and that we hold each other to them and that we try and hold ourselves to them. Um, it's
Yeah,
very other. It's very other oriented, right? It's like letting someone else tell you what your definition of beauty should be.
and it's bad that men have this because of dating apps, because women now have so many options, they choose the best.
Yeah, yeah, yep. And hopefully the best means the ones that love them and care for them because of who they are, and not because of them that they may or may not look like a model or a poster or an AI woman that they saw on the internet.
Yeah, but like I said, they they dictate by women how they
Yes,
look because of
yes,
these dating apps, and then
yep. That
they
is a
jump into rabbit hole of
yeah,
Sigma male.
yep. And trying to attract, go into the peacock mode and trying to attract a date that way.
But
Yeah,
also
it's
being very arrogant toward girls.
yes, yep, yeah. The mistreatment because of what they've learned from AI models online and things like that. So yeah, it's it is a problem that's not going away anytime soon. Let's be honest, right? This is it would be nice if we could sort of leave this in the past, but maybe going forward, what are your thoughts? What would you like to see?
I want to children be taught in school that don't care about beauty standard and accept and don't care about opinions of others like
Yes,
haters.
yeah,
And
yeah.
also promote a healthy lifestyle. Don't starve or to obesity.
Yep. I think that's and it sounds so reasonable, right? It sounds so very reasonable. Put your health first, be yourself, don't worry what other people think. Right? It seems like it shouldn't be that difficult, but it's
Yeah,
certainly something that we're nowhere near yet for
yeah,
most of us.
yeah, and should also learn that that some characters or people in magazines are not real, like Ariel is not real, Barbie
Yes.
doll the same.
Mhm. Yes. Yep. They're fictional. They're fictional. Quit trying to be a fiction. Quit trying to match a fictional standard of beauty. Right.
Yes,
Yeah. Whew. Um. That's the end of our notes. Notes. What more did you want to add? I'm sure we've had 1,000 thoughts since we started today. What more did you want to talk about?
I don't have, I think, like,
No.
we
Okay.
covered everything.
All right. So, how about we end with a positive thought? I think we did this last time.
Yes,
You already kind of did. So go over it again. What going forward in a perfect world? What would you like to see? This is your time to tell us
I
what you would
would
love to
like,
see.
I would like that school from early years will teach children those stuff like I said. Don't compare yourself to fictional characters. Don't care about opinions of others. Treat, have healthy lifestyle
Yeah.
and accept yourself.
Yes. Accept yourself. And the only thing I would add to that is see the beauty in others.
Yes,
Yeah. The beauty's there. You just have to look.
Yeah.
But that seems does that seem like a good place to wrap it up for us today?
Yes. See you
Wonderful.
next time.
Absolutely. These are always tremendously interesting for me. You really make me think. So thank you again for inviting me to these. I was a little nervous for the first one. I was much less nervous for this one, and I'm actively looking forward to the next one. So thank you very much, NM Gems, for having me on.
You're
I appreciate it.
welcome. And thank you for coming.
You're very welcome. I had a great time.
See you next time.